Welcome to BMI Redefined with Gin and Moe. Let's do this.
Oh yeah, let's do this. Hey everybody, welcome. We have our guest today. We're so excited. Jen, you want to introduce our guest?
Oh yes, this is Katie McKenzie. She is owner of Gym Guys St. Louis. Welcome, Katie.
Hey, Gin and Moe.
She loves her nicknames.
I know. That's right. That's right.
So Katie, tell us a little bit about what Gym Guys does.
Yeah, so in this crazy time of what's going on, we do all in-home personal training. So we're going directly to clients in their home, at the office, outside at a park, really anywhere they want us to meet them. And we're bringing that trainer, that equipment, and that customized workout right to them. Living room, we can do it, again, outside. They don't have to have a dedicated workout space. We're in and out within that hour, bringing what we brought with us and back out the door.
Nice. So Mo, what do you think about that?
I loved going on Facebook and finding Gym Guys because that's where I first saw the ad. And then I typed in home training because I had just gotten done with some surgeries. And I was like, oh, I need to work out. I do, but I don't want to go to the gym. I just don't want that right now. And I don't know if I ever want that. So I typed in, in-home personal training, and Gym Guys came up. And of course, immediately I thought, well, is this just for men?
Right, sorry about that.
That's okay. But the universal term, guys, And so I looked into it, and it was exactly what I needed at that time in my life. I contacted you, Katie, and you came out very quickly, and we had our first initial meeting, and it was so smooth, and you came out, you asked exactly the right questions, because I still wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not. And when you left, I was like, okay, this is for me. This is what I want right now. And just, sign me up. So I was waiting for you to go through the assessment to find out who would match up perfectly with. And here comes this person, Jen, into my life. And she's turned it upside down on many levels. But most importantly, just got me back into exercising. Actually, not back into exercising. She got me to exercise.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, as you guys experienced, and not just from the client side, but from the trainer side too, that personal connection is like one of the biggest parts of this whole equation. Because if you don't, most people, I would love to say, and I'm sure Jen would agree, that we're going to make everyone love exercise at the end of this. But the reality is that most people still don't love it.
No.
So if they don't love the exercise and they don't love and enjoy this person that's coming over, it's like a recipe for disaster.
Right.
So if we can at least help make that personal connection, they're willing to push out of their comfort zone, try something that they wouldn't try, stay accountable, move a little bit more, because Jen's going to ask if you did it or not, right?
Right. And whether I like it or not, we have a set time, and she's coming to my door,
Right.
ringing it at 10 a.m., where if I was going to meet her at the gym or meet her for a walk somewhere, and we've done this where we've met for a walk, and I'm like 10 minutes before, I'm not feeling very well, and I cancel. And so, but if I know she's coming to my door at 10 o'clock, I'm like, well, I can't call and cancel because she's already on her way.
Right. Oh, especially our early morning clients. I've used this story numerous times because it was so fitting. I worked in a gym for years, and early morning clients, they would sometimes just not show up. But we have one woman who's trained with us, and she said, I can't even get up early enough to cancel on you, right? By the time my alarm goes off, they're going to be here in like 15 minutes. And what am I supposed to say at 6 a.m.?
Right.
Why I can't work out.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, there is this different level of accountability. But for us, there's also a different level of connection with somebody, of being in their home. It's just a different relationship and a really personal one. And
It is. And I like it too because I also teach privately. I teach private voice in my home. And so when my students come, it's like, okay, we have this type of, I know that this is their time, that they're coming every week, and we've built this relationship as well. So I really, as a private teacher, I don't cancel a lot because I know that it's money and I know it's time.
Right.
I'm the person that's coming. So that's also a part of where I come from as well. But having Jen come and bring all of her equipment, sometimes I wish I had a video camera with her because watching her come from the car with everything on her, it's like, okay, now I have to go out and get the dumbbells. And I'm like, no, you can leave those in the car. Or the what's the thing that goes between your legs? What's that bell?
Oh, the kettlebell.
Oh, yeah, the kettlebell.
So we were just talking about how I love hearing stories about what goes on in the field, and one of our clients shared a video of a trainer from her ring. Because as the trainer opened the trunk, equipment came out. It's all caught on the ring, their doorbell ring camera of stuff rolling down the street.
Right.
And the trainer running after it.
Well,
The client's like, I'm just dying. Like at that point, she opens the front door and she's just laughing hysterically because it's all going on. And she knew that the trainer had pulled up because her ring caught the motion, and then she saw it all unfold. And yes, so
it's pretty funny.
So we help train clients to help them become more fit, but we also add some entertainment value.
absolutely.
Right. That is definite. That is definite. And I like that the thing that I like about when you come over is that we can modify things because and the wonderful thing that, and Katie, thank you so much, because we both have, we talked about this in the last episode, we both have total hip replacements, THRs, THR, yeah, okay, I need to think about that for a minute. And go ahead.
Tell her about the other day when we were on the mat, we were doing reverse lunges.
Right.
And then I turned my back to her to get up. And we get up the same way off the floor.
Because of her hip. And I just started laughing out loud, and I'm like, this is like synchronized swimming with gym guys. It was great.
It's probably all those PT muscle
It
memories.
It was like you have to lift up with your left leg, and then you have to lean over and get up. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it was great. It was great. No, but watching myself through this process, have I met the goals that I wanted to meet? Yes. Have I met some other goals? No. But I found that through this process that it has taught me to not love exercise. I will never love exercise. I'll just be honest. But it has taught me the importance of exercise and the importance of moving and movement, because I no longer have lower back pain. No longer. And the reason is because I'm moving my body because of the persistence of my trainer. But it's also shown me, and it's made me more in tuned to my body. That if I don't exercise, this is where I'm going to end up.
Right.
And this is where I'm going to be.
It's interesting how people's goals shift. And I have always said this, right? I still handle the majority of our kind of intakes and assessments. And like we did together, Mo, we talk about goals.
Right.
But people, some of those goals are really significant for people. But I also say that a lot of times what I'm hearing in that initial appointment is a somewhat superficial goal. Right? It's the same, I want to lose a little weight, I want to tone up, I want to this, I want to that. And then as people get into the process, they figure out different reasons or something that they didn't notice shifts, and they're like, wow, that was my biggest accomplishment. We were training a husband and wife, and they have a 5-year-old, and the husband has just had injuries after injury from sports when he was younger, and they were getting down, up and down off the floor for certain exercises, as I'm sure Jen makes you do.
Absolutely.
And the coach didn't call him out, but really noticed what a struggle that was for the husband in particular. And so he made him do it more and more through the workout. Instead of saving it for the end or doing long chunks on the floor, he's like, this is an essential part of his life. There's a little kid in this house who wants his dad to sit on the floor and play with him. And that husband eventually was like, oh my gosh, I no longer have to crawl over to the couch, push up on a chair, take 10 minutes to get up. But that would have never been a goal that he set in the beginning, because he didn't really realize that it was a struggle, because it was what it was until it wasn't anymore. And that's what we see a lot of, that most people, again, kind of state something very generic in the beginning, and it may mean something to them, and it's absolutely something we still want to help them work towards. But most people then find something else along the way that has shifted unbeknownst to them, that is their real life-changing aspect of it, not the 5 pounds.
Right. And the thing that, okay, this is really funny, but the thing that don't worry, I'm not going to say anything.
Now I want you to tell.
Okay. So anyway, so now,
I mean, our goal with all of our clients no one has this cookie cutter approach to how we're going to help someone get to where they are, or where life is going to take them, or where crazy schedules are going to shift, or what's going to happen. So how do we help them make this not just their time with us, but the rest of their life? Make these changes so that they can take this knowledge and this kind of empowerment to take it and do some of it on their own too, right? Terrible business model to push them out the door, but biggest successes when they can take what they've learned from us. So you've said, Mo, that you maybe don't ever want to go to a gym, but we've had people, one woman said, like, day one, I'm not going to keep you forever, because she was a gym goer and then had gotten completely sidetracked in life and out of the routine, and just didn't feel like that was her next step to get back into exercise, to jump back into the gym. But that was still her end goal, to start going back to the classes that she liked before, but she built up a foundation to...
Right. Well, so let me tell you, I was like anti-gym. I did not want it. And that, I think I told you that.
You said
Jim.
that in the very beginning.
I don't like gyms. I don't ever want to go to a gym. That's not my goal here. My goal is to maybe in home gym and work out here and all that.
Well, yeah, and you showed me like your downstairs where you set up equipment, where there's some ideas that we
Right,
could talk about how to do that.
Right, and we did talk about that. And then all of a sudden I called Jen and I said, hey, I just want you to know, I joined the J. I joined the gym.
That's where I go.
Well, hold on a minute. But didn't you say...
I had switched gyms and I had just joined the J again the same day.
The same day. And we didn't know.
We didn't tell each other.
That is fate, ladies.
That's our lives.
So now...
So now I've been going, to the J. I still work out here with Jen for Gym Guys, because I also think it's important to work out at home, and I want that guidance, and I need that guidance. And in fact, she's going to help me build my in-home gym downstairs, because especially during this time, my gym is now closed, many gyms are closed in the U.S., but due to the COVID-19. But so right now I have my ball out, I have my little weights out, I have my bands, I have every tool that I need right now because of Gym Guys to be able to work at home during this crisis.
Now remember, you don't have to buy too much for home, because then you're going to lose the entertainment of Jen rolling stuff in if you have everything here.
True. And I want to say, I got that stuff before she even showed up, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to need this, and da-da-da. But that is the truth. I mean, she brings 3 times as much as what I have here. But I can do my sit-ups, and I can do my planks. I can do, and there are things now, and she's also made me more aware of how to work out. That's the biggest thing. Because when we're on our own, we don't know, sometimes we just don't know what to do.
Right.
And we don't know how to work out. But now when I'm doing, planks, okay, so make sure your back is, straight. Make sure that, you're even here and you're not bending here and, things like that I could have injured myself because I just didn't know.
Right.
And that's the beauty of a trainer. But to have the trainer in your home.
Just to back up to something that Mo was talking about is the whole COVID-19 thing going on right now, Katie. So what are some ideas or tips or anything that you might want to share with listeners about workouts and how to function on our own?
Yeah, it's really crazy times with everything shutting down. Jen, I think I shared this with you like a couple days ago. It may not look the same as it did before, right? We're not, for those gym goers, we're not going to the gym. For those people who like to work out at home, maybe the consistency of that isn't even the same because now everyone's home, right? Mm-hmm. So the first bit of advice is to just find ways to stay active. I know myself having little ones at home and I'm looking up these daily routines. Like one of the first things it says in the morning is like, start with some movement, right? Our kids get movement through the day. They have structured exercise time. We need to carve out that time for ourselves and our families. We were playing home with one of those little dice that rolling the dice and it tells you what to do.
Yeah, that's what she said.
And it's like, you do it for, you said a few minutes, everyone takes a few turns on the dice and that's what we all do. And we just get that blood flowing. But it is a time to start to utilize, there's so much that people can do with just their body weight, right? And we can sprinkle those in throughout the day, 10-minute breaks and do 3 to 6 of them a day. And you have 30 to 60 minutes of exercise. We're still going to be able to go outside. Maybe it might be in our own yard, but we can still do things like that to take pets out for a walk.
Yeah, like the other day, I took 3 walks with the dogs. They're exhausted, which is great.
Right.
And so there are a lot of projects that could be done during this time. And, but that's also movement.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
it doesn't have to be big structured things. Again, for some people, it may not be that they can't get the time in. It's just how do they fit it in? How do they engage everyone? Like we talked about those, like it could be just these short 10 minute breaks through the day where it's going to be hard to pry the kids and even ourselves away from just turning on the TV and watching movies and doing all those sorts of things. But again, we're not banned from going outside. Exercise is going to be good for us fighting off all of these viruses. So if it's walks outside, some of our clients were still going to their homes. Some of them were offering virtual training so we can train from afar and still give them kind of those workouts and that appointment time and that accountability, especially for those ones who that's one of their biggest struggles. It's not necessarily knowing what to do, but having someone a day and a time that I need to do this will help. And then if a spouse, kids, families around, they can join in or not. So anything, right? Just getting outside, getting moving, having those short little breaks through the day, going up and down a few more flights of stairs, setting a reminder, right? All of our smartwatches will set those reminders of when we're sedentary for too long.
Yeah, I always get one that says, okay, it's time to breathe. And I'm like, hey, okay. But I do.
Right.
Because I take that minute and it buzzes my hand and I breathe and I feel much better.
Yeah.
So, and I have my exercise ring that comes on. Okay, it's time to stand up and get moving, So, but even those who don't have anything like that, set a timer.
Right.
To say, okay, it is 4:00. It's time for me to get up and just do something for 10 minutes. And then I'll be done. And usually that 10 minutes turns into 15 or 20, right?
So what about like even stairs in your home? Like, so the other day, my husband's now having to work from home with his company. And so we needed to kind of clean out the upper office where I actually had all of my pool noodles for teaching water aerobics and my weight belts and BOSU balls and rollers and weights. I had stored it all up there. And so anyway, I thought, why don't I just make this a stair stepper workout, if you will? So I carried weights and everything all the way from the top floor down into the basement area. So probably about 40 flights of stairs the other day, just cleaning out that office. And I felt like I'd done part of a leg day.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just not that I'll be cleaning out the office every day, but it made me think, like you're saying, do extra stairs. Just do something different from your normal routine to add some activity into it.
Right. I mean, we've talked at our house that we'll just pull cars out of the garage, right? And kids will have a little bit more free space to run around. We can set up some mats, do some workout stuff there. A big thing is obstacle courses, right? If you have younger ones at home to do
Now,
things
see,
like
to
that.
me as a kid, that does not sound, that would not have been fun for me. Fun for me would have been like baking some no-bake cookies and watching I Love Lucy reruns. But things have changed.
Right.
And it's become very more health conscious too, and moving and exercising.
Right. And that fresh air is going to do us all
Oh,
so much good.
Right.
So again, even if you're not leaving your own property or going out into, going to a park or things like that, where you may be close to individuals and that immunity may be compromised, get out in your backyard, right? Go and do something outside. Has anybody seen that video? I think it was in Spain, where a trainer is on a roof of a gym and there's the kind of a high rise in front of them, and there are all these people on their balconies following him do this workout, right? They're all in their own space and they're all quarantined, so they're not passing their germs, but he is up there doing his thing and they're all following along. And I'm
That's
like,
great.
you can start like a little
cool.
neighborhood thing depending on how your house is. Everyone stay in their driveway, I'll be in the street, and we'll all do our thing. But
That's awesome. That's
yeah, we're
awesome.
gonna have to find creative ways to stay active and to just keep that blood flowing. And
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned taking your kids for a bike ride the other day.
yes,
You said that was fun.
they were not so thrilled by the end. My son's like, "Do I have to go around one more time? My hands are cold." I'm like, "It's good for you. We just did a mile. You can load up.
Right. Right.
We can go home." But
Yeah, it is, and sometimes it is pulling teeth, though.
yeah,
It is. It's like, do I have to go? It's like, yeah, you do. Yeah. Because it's good for you to get
I
out.
knew you were going to say that. It's good for you. Don't our kids love to hear us say that?
They do.
And
I
our
think we should
clients,
say
too.
it all the time. It's good for you.
but here's the thing, right? If we model it, whether it's kids or a spouse who's reluctant to take part in it, right? If we model it and start doing it,
They'll catch on.
they'll catch on, right?
yeah.
Eating habits as well. Like now is the perfect time to make sure we're all eating super healthy. And if we eat it, then maybe they don't love it, but they'll start to pick up on things. We don't need to disrupt everyone's world and suddenly, have an upheaval of our household, spouses and kids and significant others, that we're going to make all these drastic changes. But ground rules now, maybe a time that we all can slow down a little bit. I mean, we hear it all the time, and it's probably true for all of our families, that we get in this habit and maybe we don't eat as healthy because we're busy, or we skip a workout because we're busy. Hey, guess what? We're all going to be a little less busy for a while, and now maybe we can slow down and focus things a little bit differently, right?
Right.
Go have family meals and all sit down together and put some guidelines out there,
Yeah, well, because we're all there.
right?
Yeah, so just
Right.
cooking together and spending some time is going to be valuable going forward. Definitely.
And teaching them, taking this opportunity to teach them how to cook something, or how to clean this or clean that, or how to go for a walk. I mean, seriously,
Right,
it is a perfect opportunity to educate
right.
them, because what else are they going to do?
Absolutely. You're gonna comply.
Right? No, I'm teasing. No. And just bringing this back to the exercise, that's how I feel. I feel that you brought many activities and exercises to the table. And there were some that I loved and some that I didn't like.
True.
I won't use the word hate. Oh, too late. But now those that I didn't like, now they are a part of my routine. Like what's the ab roller one.
Ab roller.
And so, I just did not like that one in the beginning. But now I'm like, okay, now I have this and I have it. So now it's just become part of what I know.
So what about the mountain climbers with the Home Depot furniture movers? Furniture sliders?
Oh, yeah. So the first time I did that one, I wiped out, man. I wiped out. And I was like, now I can just do them with, don't tell her, Jen, but I can do them with ease now.
But we modified. Actually, we started, I think, with the chair and then the piano bench and then the sofa and then back down to the floor. And she does them like a pro
Yeah,
now.
they're really, except
So
when my little feet fall off. But that's okay.
But that's just using an adaptation. I just had those because we did some remodeling and I thought, these are like sliders in the gym. Let's give it a try. And what do you know?
It was perfect.
Yeah.
In fact, I went out and bought my own sliders.
Yeah, she bought her own set.
So not to give away our trade secrets here, but right, we just had a trainer meeting a couple weeks ago, and exactly what you're talking about. Our trainer Beth shared how that is so important to, one, building this relationship, but finding out what a client's past experience was, or what their reluctancy to exercise, or what exercises they totally hate and which things they liked, because it's important for us building that relationship to make sure that we give a client enough of what they enjoy, while still pushing you to do some of those things that we know you need to do, whether you like it or not, kind of thing.
Right.
And it's this balancing act, and that's really important in building that relationship of kind of figuring those things out. Because as we talked about that relationship early on between that coach and that client, if you also hate everything they ask you to do, or you don't feel like anything, if they're pushing so hard that everything is so challenging that you don't feel like you're making any progress, that doesn't work either.
No.
Right?
No. And if that would have happened to me, I would have left. I would have just like, okay, this isn't for me.
She wouldn't have opened the door.
Is there someone out there? Do I hear dogs? Shh.
Yeah.
Was that the doorbell? No, don't answer it. No one answer it. No. But it would have been, but it would have been traumatic. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's a really fine line of kind of roping someone in, right? Engaging that client, challenging them, building that personal connection with them, as well as getting them to push out of their comfort zone of those boundaries. I'm sure Jen has had you do some things where Mo, you're looking at her like, you want me to do what? Right? Maybe every session.
Yeah, there have been a few of those times.
Or you're
Usually
thinking,
when she says, hey, Mo, I have an idea. And I'm like, ugh.
All my clients react to that phrase, and not so positively, but they always usually enjoy what the idea was, but not always.
But think about it. If all of those attempts had failed, or all of them were so challenging, or there's keys along the way that it's our job to show you that you can do something that maybe you didn't think that you could do, or when to introduce something.
Right.
Some clients will see, and it will be months later, and we'll have to say, like, I could have never asked you to even attempt this 2 months ago. It's tough today, but I couldn't have asked you to do it 2 months ago because I knew you couldn't even do 1 or 2 or 3, whatever you feel like is still tough. And then this is just going to get easier, but we built that foundation getting to here. So they just need to trust us.
Yes.
We need to build that trust.
That's
we
right.
need to build that relationship, and we need to help them boost their confidence.
Well, and sometimes we've talked about this before, Katie, and Mo and I as well. It's about self-limiting behaviors. Like in our mind, like I know with metal arms and hips and all that kind of stuff, there are times when even when working with my trainer, I'd be like, no, I can't do that. And so we were talking to John on the podcast the other day, and he said, do you remember the first time I had you running on the treadmill? And he said, what did you say? I said, I can't do that. And he knew that I could. And I cried. I mean, it was like, but I did it. Oh my gosh, I could. Because when you have a hip replacement, there, it's like, well, don't run too fast and don't do too much. But ultimately, you get to a point in your recovery where you should be having more movement. You should be having more high impact movement.
Right.
And so, and he knew that. And I was, slightly cognizant of that, but I was more like, oh, I'm limiting. And so,
Yeah, we are on the side of being protective.
Yeah.
Because we went through a lot
yeah,
to get that new hip.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And so we don't want to mess it up.
Right.
But for me, being with Jen, it really helped because she had been through that experience, and it made me feel more confident in my workouts. So every day I stand taller, even though I'm 5 feet tall, but I stand taller. I feel like I have more control of my body, and that makes me feel confident, and it makes me feel better about myself. And that's what Gym Guys gave me, is my confidence back. So thank you.
Well, we love Jen. She has an amazing ability to connect with people and
Right.
make them feel her crazy high energy, right?
Right? Exactly.
But on the other side, Katie, you have the gift of matching up your trainers with clients, though. That is really a gift, how you just match up personalities and people. It's incredible.
And I do have a question for you,
Sure.
Katie. Because you can be, you can say, okay, I'm going to hire this person or I'm not hiring this person. So what was it that made you hire, or inside of you that was like, okay, this person is going to be a great fit for our company?
Just Jen or any?
And Jen.
Oh my gosh! You sit down with her for one. We met at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
And you just sit down with her, right? You hear her story, and first of all, you see her resume, and you're like, well, she wants to come and work with us and be a trainer, what? Right? She is a jack of all trades, and you just keep learning through the process of knowing her all these things that she does. But I've said this for years, that I've been in the industry. People can have all the certifications and the knowledge in the world, but if they don't have this gift that she has of making that connection, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
That knowledge will only take you so far. If we're expecting someone to work with us multiple times a week, for most people, you have to be able to connect with them.
Right.
And if we lose that, then it doesn't work. So yes, we have to have people that have nationally recognized certifications and have the qualifications and things like that. Sure. But when someone's personality and energy shines through,
right?
I mean, which is exactly what it did with you. That's like, it's a no-brainer, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, but doesn't it also come from like a teaching aspect? Like all three of us here are teachers. I mean, we're teaching people, we're teaching workouts, we're teaching whether nutrition guidelines or motivations or whatever, but it also comes back from my past as a teacher in the classroom, as far as having to engage with those students, or I've taught at a university, or your evaluations are going to be really bad. So
rate my professor. We
yeah,
don't
exactly.
want
Yeah. So I mean,
Right.
that's it's interesting how through the years you kind of learn, to figure out, learning how to talk to people about their interests. Even your students and that kind of thing. And I kind of think that just kind of grew into being part of a personality, as far as like being genuinely interested in what others have to say.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's such a big part. I mean, I've had clients that I haven't worked with for years, but like I'll run into, and I'm like, you still know, right? You hear about everything that goes on. And again, this dynamic of being in someone's home is, we don't just hear about spouses and kids and pets like we do at the gym. Like, we're here right along with it, right? We see all kinds of stuff being in clients' homes, but we're also, a part of their routine and their world. So to have that ability, like you have, Jen, to take that and really make it that personal experience and genuinely care, like we know you do, is what makes the difference, right?
It was one point where you'd just gotten your little baby Datsuns, Mo,
Yes,
and
right.
I remember it was one of those days you'd had a long day working and all that, and you're like, we're not working out today. And I said, so I called Katie and I said, I have an idea.
That's how it all started, right?
What if I call Mo and say, well, why don't we take your little puppies for a walk? And that was what we did that day.
It was so
really
therapeutic. It was
It
perfect.
was fun, yeah.
But we were still moving
Yeah.
and talking and engaging.
Yeah.
So we've been asking all of our guests what BMI Redefined means to them. So body, mind, and image. And what we would like to hear from you is, what is part of your story? Why did you get into this business? Did you start out in this business?
I did. So for me, getting into fitness was active as a kid, right? And I was playing soccer pretty competitively. And then in middle school, I had a stress fracture in my back that kind of pulled me out of those prime times of continuing to be competitive in sports. And at that age, it's like, what else do you do, right? So here we roll into high school. My friends went on to be more competitive in sports, and I didn't really. And I signed up for a personal fitness class, right? It was either like regular gym or personal fitness. And I'm like, I'll do personal fitness, sure, why not? Unbeknownst to me, the females did not sign up for personal fitness because it was weightlifting and running. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm the only girl in this class. So that kind of shifted the idea of exercise for me at a younger age of why, like how this becomes important. And now into adulthood, I see it more so too with so many of our clients and individuals that's all they thought of as exercise was being in sports. And maybe they were competitive even through college. And then that sport is no longer a part of their lives. And even though they were active, they don't really know how to do it on their own. So from that point on, it's just really been a part of my routine, more on that fitness side of it than the sports side.
We're so fortunate we get to live our passion.
Absolutely.
And work our passion, Well, I think this would be a great time to sign off and thank our guest. Thank you so much, Katie, for coming in and talking to these two crazy blondes. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks for having me, ladies.
Yes,
This
we're
has been
so
fun.
excited. Do you want to say something? Or?
Yeah, Katie, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing me in to be part of Gym Guys
Oh,
and
we
for
love having
introducing me to Mo. And thanks for coming in and sharing your story and tips with us today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I think I'm going to go have some coffee.
Oh, coffee
I
talk.
want a coffee talk. Okay.
And we just want to thank all our listeners for joining us for BMI Redefined with Jen and
Mo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ciao.